Adam, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm going to just get this out of the way and tell you that it snowed here in New York City. What's the weather like down there?
I played 18 holes of golf this morning at 8:30 in the morning. It was probably 81 degrees. I don't want anybody getting upset with me while they're watching this, but it was beautiful weather in South Florida. Gorgeous.
Well, I'm quite jealous. So let's talk.
I see you're wearing that nice heavy shirt there.
Yeah, I had the vest on for the first. We got more snow today than we did all last year, and quickly found out what neighbors are diligent with shoveling the sidewalks. So happy to talk to someone in Florida right now.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be discussing a few neighborhoods in West Broward County today: Davie, Southwest Ranches, Cooper City, Parkland, and Coral Springs. In general, what trends have you noticed in those neighborhoods over the last 12 months or so?
Okay. For those that don't know and are kind of just watching this or listening to it, Broward County, these neighborhoods, like you said, West Broward County, be west of I-95. Davie, Cooper City are more grouped together in the more Dade-Broward kind of line, a little closer to the Dade-Broward line. And Parkland and Coral Springs are more like northwest Fort Lauderdale, Broward County areas. In general, the areas always sell very well. First, because of the good public schools, very well public schools. Second, very good charter schools. And third, very good private schools. So with those three good things in demand, you'll find families and hardworking professionals.
Just for a quick refresher, or maybe for someone who has no idea, what's going to be the difference between a private school and a charter school?
Okay, so my kids were part of public school, kindergarten actually, and second grade last year before the pandemic. So it's a regular public school. Quickly, we had to get them, unfortunately, out of the public school system because their online curriculum wasn't good. We had a choice between private school and charter school. So charter school is, in essence, runs very much like a private school, meaning the curriculum is at a higher level. It's uniforms, it's a little more serious. And in our particular situation, the school goes from kindergarten until 8th grade together. So my kids are in first and third. They go all the way to 8th grade together versus going from like elementary to a middle to a high school. So that's a huge thing. And it's also free education. So you just have to go to like an application process or become part of the lottery. The class size is usually lower and smaller. And then obviously private school is another animal in itself.
Okay, let's go big picture again. Have you noticed an influx of out-of-state buyers in those neighborhoods since the start of March, April?
Yes. Yeah. Normally the international market is pretty hot down here, and that's relatively more of a condo dominated market. But since the pandemic and we're seeing a huge influx, California, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. So they are coming down here. First, they were looking to be down here in the summer and figure it out. They were doing either just trying to get a rental, and it quickly, because of the inventory, turned into buy situations. And now with school closures going on all over the country and the uncertainty, the influx has been enormous.
What's going to be like one distinguishing feature of those neighborhoods? If you just had to give a quick preview of those neighborhoods that we mentioned, what's going to be the first thing that you want to say is going to distinguish between Davie and the Southwest Ranches, Parkland? If someone just said, "Hey, I want to be in West Broward County," what's the first thing that you need to tell me that I need to know about those neighborhoods?
Two things. So. One, you're further away from the intercoastal and the ocean and the beach, which is what most people want to move down here for. So if that's what you're looking for, you want to be east Fort Lauderdale, east of I-95, east of US 1 and Biscayne Boulevard, get close to the water. Most people move out west for more space. Cost of living is better, bigger house, less money. And particularly Davie, Cooper City, Parkland, Plantation, are better known for acreage lots, larger lot sizes, and then equestrian communities as well. So if you have a passion for riding horses or that kind of stuff, Davie, Southwest Ranches, Parkland specifically are all equestrian friendly communities.
Okay, so let's really kind of deep dive into those neighborhoods. Who is going to be a great fit, either a person or family, for Davie?
Anybody who wants just some space, a little more of a laid back type of atmosphere, lots of parks, riding bikes, fishing, things like that. Good shopping still out here, close to all the restaurants, and still being able to have access to getting to anywhere you really need to go. And you're literally most places 15 minutes from the Fort Lauderdale Airport.
And what about Southwest Ranches?
Southwest Ranches is a little more for somebody who's looking for a little more privacy, a little more exclusive setup. So those are much larger acreages of land. Could start at 1.5 acres, 2 acres, 5 acres, 8 acres. A lot of athletes like to buy out there. There's privacy. People with horses up north come down. There's barns, stables, and people just looking for a little more space, and not so much of the guard-gated subdivision communities that you might see.
And are you finding that people are moving within those neighborhoods, or are you also getting some out-of-state buyers into those neighborhoods?
We're getting them on both ways. So we've always had a pretty good influx of just retirees, second home, really transitioning from working up north and getting away from the cold weather that you're in right now, and coming down to South Florida to live the lifestyle that South Florida has to offer. So that's always, it's either people from the Northeast, or it's families moving up and trying to get either to a better public school or a better charter school, or just a better way of lifestyle.
And when I was on the Equity Advisor Team website, which is equityadvisorteam.com, we have 291 listings in Davie and 54 listings in Southwest Ranches. What is that inventory number like compared to this time last year?
So the inventory in Davie is very low, and I want to say it's at a 5% or 3% or 2%, because I really haven't looked at the market in that type of detail in the last 8 weeks, because we've been so busy with the amount of buyers that we have and not enough inventory. So I can tell you that we are very low in inventory for houses that are remodeled already, that have people that put money into them, things that are a little more turnkey, because people that are moving down here don't want to deal with the minutia sometimes of having to go through that. So the value buys are ones that are still need some love and need to be upgraded or updated to their taste. But the ones that seem to be done or move in condition, selling fast. It's really difficult.
Okay, let's move on to Parkland and Coral Springs. You were just at a listing in Parkland for $979,000. Is that a normal listing in Parkland right now?
Yeah, that's a normal listing in Parkland. That house had 11 showings when we went there, and it had 4 offers before we even left there. So that's to tell you honestly how the market is right now. It's difficult, but not impossible.
And what is a little bit more of a description about Parkland? What kind of neighborhood is that? Who's moving there?
Parkland is in the middle of Boca and Coral Springs. And it's also, once again, it's more of an equestrian community lifestyle, larger footprint homes. It's young families. It's people with either growing families, horses, great schools, A-rated schools, and that's, it's a nice way of life up there in Parkland.
And what about Coral Springs?
Coral Springs is like the center hub sometimes for Parkland, and maybe a little bit further south. Parkland is a busy upper middle class. You have both old neighborhoods, meaning that Parkland is not a new city, but it's a really well-respected city. I personally have a business in there, and different than real estate. So it's a very well-respected city. I'm always amazed when I drive through there. You've got some really great large acre neighborhoods that are behind gates, and then you've got some really great neighborhoods throughout. So Coral Springs is a nice neighborhood.
Now, of these neighborhoods, are people, as you mentioned, you have a business there in Coral Springs. Do you have people that are living in these neighborhoods and then driving into Miami and Fort Lauderdale for work? Are they typically laying, laying a foundation and staying close to home?
Yeah, Coral Springs is usually people that are staying closer to home or maybe traveling further north towards Palm Beach.
Okay.
Because that's kind of where it is that way. So mostly people from Coral Springs dread driving to Miami. They don't like Dade County. It seems like light years away. When you move further south towards Davie, where I am, it's kind of on that borderline we talked about in the beginning, where we're maybe 30 or 40 minutes from Miami at the heart of it, let's say. 30 minutes to Aventura, 30 minutes to East Fort Lauderdale to hit the beach. So we're a little more centralized in Davie. So people that live in Davie usually live in East Fort Lauderdale and work in the financial or law offices or whatever's in Las Olas and East Fort Lauderdale, or they're heading south down to Miami.
Okay. And let's finish up with Cooper City. What type of families moving into Cooper City right now?
Cooper City is also one of those older cities, and taking you back, now we're in 2020, almost the end. I remember going to Cooper City in the early 90s when I was about 16, 17, 18, and it was an up and coming neighborhood because prior to that, there was a Hurricane Andrew that destroyed Kendall, and everybody kind of migrated out towards West Broward. That's really the truth of how the spur of West Broward, Weston became Weston, and Cooper City is just a great neighborhood. A lot of families. It's just very family oriented over there. It's not really close to getting to the highway this way or that way. But Cooper City is like its own little world. Great police department, great schools, great optimist clubs. So it's very desirable, especially people from the Northeast, for sure.
And right now there's only 49 listings in Cooper City on your website. Again, very low number. Has that number gone down since start of January?
Yeah, the number's gone extremely down. Houses that would normally sell for, 700,000, they're now pushing million one on some of the neighborhoods. The inventory, we're running into an inventory, and I don't want to make it sound like gloom and doom. But at this particular moment right now, we do have an inventory shortage. I mean, low interest rates, people moving out of the Northeast, people leaving California, and seeing the lifestyle, the weather, what South Florida has to offer, and much like you and myself, who know, and a lot of people are able to work more remotely now. So now Florida makes more sense for people, So
now you mentioned low inventory, but are any of the neighborhoods that we discussed good options for real estate investing opportunities?
I think the condo market is good right now on some levels because it's a little bit softer demand, so we're able to find some deals there, and those you have to find with, because it's not that easy, but you find them with good rental ability, where you don't have to hold them, and yes, there's opportunities. I mean, we look in multifamily, duplexes, triplexes. We're buying houses that are below average, fixing them up. Putting them up and using them for rental. So there's always available and there's always opportunity. I feel like Florida's too cheap on some sections, and I feel like it's too expensive in some areas. So there's just pockets. You have to kind of know where you're looking.
Do you have to be pretty connected in finding off-market deals, or can you go through the MLS and still find a good opportunity?
You probably better to know somebody that's got something off market or coming soon for sure. Anything that hits the MLS right now, I have automatic setups for my buyers. And as soon as they hit the market, they're going to them, they're going to me. And we're trying to make an appointment to see it that day in a single family home type situation. In a condo, same thing. We're setting up autos. We're looking the uptick for condos in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks because the inventory for single families is down, which is naturally driving the condo market up. More amenities are opening up in the buildings again, and they're figuring out the rules for all this, like who uses the gym, we go to the pool, and valet. So it's only a matter of time where, the condo market will come back just because of demand.
Well, good information there for investors and also folks who are looking for a single family home for themselves. Next week, we're going to be discussing Dade County neighborhoods. You can listen to this episode and our previous episodes on Apple and Spotify, as well as watch our video version on YouTube by searching Adam Bernstein's Contract to Close podcast. Adam, how can those clients and colleagues connect with you personally?
You can always call me or text me on my cell, 305-409-7556. Reach out and say hello. You can find me on Facebook under Adam Bursztein. You can find me on Instagram and always equityadvisorteam.com. Get on my mailing list.
Okay, Adam, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Stay warm.